Good morning. This is Kurt H. I am the Lazy Farmer, and we got a good. I think it's gonna be a good episode, and it's gonna be a very interesting episode. And hopefully, for a lot of you, I'm hoping it's gonna be a very informative episode. So here I am. I'm hanging out over Barstow. I put it out last week. I only got 2 comments, but I put it out there. Where do I want to? Where do you guys want me to stream from this week? And the 2 guys that made the comments said Barstow, so here I am in Barstow. So, but what I want to talk about is kind of, how am I going to phrase this? It's going to be how to find us, the servers. I mean, there's a link in the description on how to get into the Lazy Farmer. But what happens when you get there into Discord? Where do you go from there? And then this morning, yep, Mike, you're right. Morning, Jerry. Morning, Mike. This is the SRS server. Jerry, by the way, congratulations on getting your rail driver. That's awesome. So, but it's going to be about the SRS, Southwest Rail Simulations, what to do, how to find out what needs to be done. And so we're going to be joined by Switchman Ken, who is for lack of a better title, Jerry Brown just joined the session. Awesome. Ken is kind of the admin in charge. I'm trying to think of something. I don't want to be derogatory. This is kind of serious and kind of not. So, I mean, we're all fun. We're all casual over here. That's the biggest thing. And so I will say right at the very beginning, we do not do check rides on the SRS. We do not do check rides on the TLF servers. We are a training group, and to that end, that's what this video is about. It's about training new players to Run8. It's about training current players of Run8, but ones that may have been a little bit nervous about joining a multiplayer, or even those that experienced Run8 players and experienced with multiplayer, but looking for just a good, friendly group to hang out with, and that would be the TLF and SRS. So, to that end, how do we find this? And of course, I got to do this. Hang on, where to go? I can never find what I'm looking for. I got too much stuff set up. Oh yeah, first of all, of course, I got this. If you do like the video, please subscribe. And then hit that like button, because that helps the analytics, helps me get these videos out, helps me make people aware of Run8 train simulations. I mean, I've looked at a lot of. I mean, you guys know my story. I won't talk about it here too much today, but Run8 Train Simulator, in my humble opinion, is the best train simulator out there. And if you watch my videos and have not subscribed, please subscribe to it that way and do the notifications so that way you know when I go live. And I will say, coming up for the next 2 months, starting June 5th, I'm on a 2-month vacation from work because I work for a school district. So, morning, Ken. What's up, CSX? How are you? I'm doing well. I got a little bit of a frog in my throat. That's just because allergies, but other than that, I'm doing well. How about yourself there, buddy? So, all right. So let's get rolling. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to, you join Discord. The link to the Lazy Farmer Discord channel is in the description. So now you follow that link and you get into Discord. What do I do? So let's see. There's the Discord page. You can see it. I'm going to show kind of like everything, but the names are truncated because I'm streaming. I'm not going to change that. So too bad. Anyway, okay. So you're going to come in and you're going to be on the Lazy Farmer. And what you want to do is, let me scroll down here. Right here where it says TLF Mocel access request, that's the page that I'm sitting on right here, and you can see there's the link to the TLF Mocel server. So on the Lazy Farmer Discord, I want to make this clear. Lazy Farmer Discord, there is access to NorCal, which is the Roseville DLC. So in order to play on NorCal, you have to have the base game and you have to have the Roseville DLC in order to play. So once you come in, you're automatically going to be granted access to the Discord, okay? And then once you're in, navigate to TLF Mosel access request and just click the join button right there where it says join because I'm already a part of it. And that's going to bring you over into this Discord here, the TLF Mosel server Discord. And this is where all my other servers are. Now, there's a reason. I'm not going to get into it. Why 2 Discords? But there's a reason. And like I said, I'm not going to get into it. But over here, you will find access to, my Mohawk, the TLF Mohawk and Selkirk region, the Pittsburgh region, the AGS, and the Southeast region. And then at the very bottom, right down here, it says SRS Southwest region. And if you navigate, and if that's what all you have is the base game, this is where you want to navigate to, Southwest Rail Simulations, and you're just going to click on that, and it'll give you a link right down here to their forums page. So now I'm not going to show the forums page because I don't want to give away their access. You have to register on their forums. And once you're registered, either Ken, myself, or any one of the other admins that they have over there, and they're pretty quick at this because I get a notification, oh, somebody's waiting for approval. I go and look, they've already been approved. So once you get approved, then you're going to go to, you'll see a link for the Southwest map. You click on that, and it'll give you their IP address and the password to get into Southwest Rail Simulations. Once you are there, there's also a link on that same page that says Southwest Rail Registry. That's the thing I want to talk about today, and we're going to talk about that with Ken. And then we're just kind of go over, if you're new to multiplayer, what to do, what not to do, but and then if any time remaining after, my 2 hours, before my 2 hours is up, then we're just going to go in and play. So, but this is about information. So if you have questions, please post them up in YouTube. I'll moderate the questions. But yeah, we're going to be joined here. And so we're going to stop with that about Discord, and I'm going to check to see if anybody has any questions about Discord. No, not so far. Okay, good. See, I'm doing good, and I have a new profile picture. Oh, you did have a new profile picture. Nice. I'll have to take a look. I can barely see it, but I'll have to take a look at it. What's up, Hodge? How you doing? All right. So, now once you're in the registry, and this is where I'm going to bring, actually, I got to unmute myself over here, so that way we can talk and I can have a conversation. So, all right, Ken, are you with us?
I am with you.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. It's my birthday this morning.
Oh, it is your birthday. I forgot. Yeah, we talked about that. Happy birthday to Ken. Okay, everybody's saying happy birthday. I'm waiting. Okay, who's singing out of tune? Oh, wait, that'd be me. Yeah, give me a bucket. I still can't carry a tune. So, all right, Hodge is doing good. Good. I went to Virginia Beach. Oh, that's right. You were going to Virginia Beach. Okay. We'll talk about that. Hopefully remind me later, CSX. We're gonna jump into the meat and potatoes of this. So, but yeah, I forgot that you were going to Monster Trucks. That sounds like fun. Isn't there something like a NASCAR race today too? I think I saw something about that. I think so. I think because this is like Memorial Day weekend in the United States. And because I do have I've been getting a lot of people from overseas watching my videos and commenting. And so this is Memorial Day weekend, so tomorrow is actually a holiday. And I think it's officially the kickoff to the summer season, summer vacation, traveling season, all that kind of stuff, because just about this time is when most schools let out for the summer break. So, all right, anyway, enough of that. So we want to go to your registry first, don't we?
Yes, we do.
All right, let me bring that up. All right, so this is the Worklist tab that I've got up on the screen. Let me Can I make some adjustments? Because there's tabs at the bottom. I'm just realizing I'm not showing the tabs. Let's see if I can adjust that. Anyway, go ahead and tell us about the the registry and what's the purpose of it.
Well, so the registry is what we use to it's basically our OC. It's what work. So this is what he's showing right now is our work list, and this is where you can come and look and see what work is available on the SRS. Now, obviously, it's scattered across the whole entire map because we obviously have everything. So for those of you that are base game, you're gonna have to kind of look to see what's what, and if hopefully there's stuff in and around Barstow. Well, there's always something in Barstow to do. But this is going to be and this should be the first thing that pops up when you click on the registry to open it up. Should be the work list should pop up first.
So I want to approach this as a brand new person. Okay. Because I think that that's the perspective that based upon the comments that I get through YouTube and in Discord. What do I do? Where do I go? And I'm also going to try to remember what it was like for me when I was brand new and didn't have anybody to help me out. I had to muddle through. The first year was mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, and I had made it earlier in the video or in the stream that I had said that we are a training group. The SRS and the TLF, we are associated with each other. We're working with each other. So I'm an admin over here. You're an admin over there. And I'm an advisor for the Fresno to Modesto section of the SRS because that's where I live. Makes sense. So, but I want to be helpful to those people that have no clue about Run8. I'm sitting over here because you come in and I'm hovering over Barstow, and as a brand new player, this is where you get dropped. And especially for those players, now there's some that have railroad backgrounds might go, okay, I'm going to jump in and I can get started, I can figure things out. But if you're brand new, you like trains like me, you're a model railroad enthusiast like me, and this is going to scratch that itch of playing on a model I call it the virtual model railroad, but I jump in and it's like, oh dear God, what do I do? That's how I want to approach it when I talk with you today. By the way, Hodge is singing happy birthday to you.
Oh, well, thanks, Hodge.
He says his voice is a little crackly.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So, now I'm looking. Okay, so it's like I did the piece with Discord before, and I've followed the route. I've gone to the TheLazyFarmer Discord, joined the TLF Mosel Discord, navigated to SRS, joined the registry, been approved, and now I'm in this page here. And something I think you just said is where would it go? Oh, documentation. As documented by member Hawk777, I would take the time to read this. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
Okay.
Hawk did a very good job of kind of explaining pretty much everything here. It's
okay.
Like a preliminary, this is kind of what you need to do, and who can do what. And
so, let me just read. Do you mind if I read through this?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, all right. So I'm a brand new player, so I'm reading through this. The registry keeps track of everything that's going on that involves the yards. The only thing that doesn't involve the registry is mainline trains that come from and go to locations outside the simulated area, which we call eye candy.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the registry is divided into two main areas: the work list, which was the page that I brought up initially, and the yard pages. So we'll cover both of those then. Okay. plus a few others such as schedules, timetables, but we're just going to cover the two main pages, which will be the work list and then the different yard pages. The work list shows, and I'm not going to read through everything here, so I'm just going to read like what I think might be the meat and potatoes. The work list shows what jobs are available to do: hostling, adding and removing road locomotives on trains, humping, trimming, building trains for departure, which is something that we're going to cover as well, and then running locals are all included on the work list. So I will say even one of my prime yard masters for TLF jumped in here this morning before I started streaming, and he's like, "What work needs to be done in Barstow?" Okay, even guys that are experienced with Run8, okay, on the SRS, you're going to come to the work list page. You shouldn't even have to ask that question, what work needs to be done, because it should be, if it's done right and everybody maintains it correctly, everything should be right there. So there should be no question as to what needs to be done. Am I off base in saying that?
No, you are
Okay.
correct.
Okay. So let's jump to the yard pages. The yard pages keep a record of what the different yard tracks in the yards are being used for. The sequence of operation for manifest freight as a hump yard, Barstow and West Colton, is generally as follows, but always follow the instructions in the work list entry if they differ from below. So okay, so I'm not going to go through all these points that he's got. He's got 11 points here, but at that last statement is the work list is the main source of information, and if you come down, well, wait, point, um, the hump crew humps the train into the bowl, blah, 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 and you go, wait a minute, that's different than what the work list says. Always follow the work list. Is that,
Correct.
that's correct. Okay.
Yeah, whatever we put in for the notes is what you should follow as far as that particular work order, job number.
Okay. So let's go back to the work list. So, and I noticed that you moved the tab from yesterday, so I just realized, oh, that's up in the front. So that should be the first thing you see.
Yeah, that tab's not locked, so I mean, someone can accidentally move it around if they're in
Yeah.
there too. So
Okay, I'm gonna retain my opinions to myself because that's not the purpose of this. So, okay, I'm looking at the work list here. No, I mean, because it's like the documentation should be the first thing that they land on. That's what it was, but anyway,
right.
that's okay. So, all right. So what I'm looking at, I've scrolled all the way up, and I've got 12. Wait, why does this say 1250 here, but the job says 1249? Okay, that's interesting. But anyway, and that's where I need to get with the owner of the SRS, because I mean I'm getting pretty darn proficient with Google Sheets, and that's what this is done on, by the way, is Google Sheets.
It's
But he's got some stuff that's like, ooh, how did he do that? Anyway, all right, so the first work order, let's go through that one real quick. Why don't you run us through that first one there?
the 1249 one.
The 1249, yeah.
Okay, so that's obviously it's going to be up in north. It's going to be in the not on this DLC, unfortunately. You'd have to have the other DLC for this, but it shows so 1249. Obviously, it's the job number. It's available. The admin David Rice entered it at 49 at 2020 hours, which is server time, not your local time.
Okay. So this is something that you made yesterday too, and I want to point that out. Now I'm in California, so the SRS is, they call it the Southwest server because it does cover from Arizona. If you have all the DLCs, it covers from Arizona, into California, and then on up into the northern part of the state. So this is really based off of Pacific time. And so when you come in, it might be, depending on where your personal location is, you may be living in the dark, but when you sign on to the server, it'll be daytime because it's daytime here in California. And if I like I did when I was playing on the Northeast, it was still daytime here, but it was dark over there in the Northeast because the sun had already gone down. So the server follows the correct time for the locale that it's modeling. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's so always now where do you get that time, that server time? Tell me about that. Cuz I'm
Well,
yeah, cuz I'm looking at I'm sitting here hovering over Barstow and I've got nothing up. I'm a brand new player trying to figure things out. So how do I get to find that time?
that you can. Yeah. Oops. Hold on a second.
There's no oops here in Run 8. Oh yeah, there's lots of oopses in Run 8.
There's a lot. So you can simply, if you're in your screen there, you can hit your Shift C, and that will bring up the time that it is currently on the server. You can also hit
Okay.
Shift X, and that will
Shift
give
C.
you your
Okay.
time.
Okay. I just
Yes.
did Shift C. And thanks for saying that because honestly, good morning, LJ. How you doing? So there's my time. And let's go ahead. You said Shift C, and what was the other command?
You can also use Shift X. That gives you your frame rate, the current temperature that's supposedly in the server,
Yeah,
your heading,
or you can
and your
go,
X and Y.
yeah,
X
gotcha.
and Z.
Yeah, X and Z, yeah. Okay. And C
But
get
for
you.
the most part,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But for the most part, Shift C will work. It's your main HUD for for trains and
All
stuff
right. So
anyway.
now as a new player, I'm feeling like I'm pretty empowered because I know how to get the time. All right, let's move on from there. What is next? Let me go bring that back up on the screen here. Okay, what's next?
Okay, well, so let's just move to the next column. Dependent on. This job does not have a dependency, so there's not a job before it that it is required to be done before this job can be done. It's
Where, okay, so on the dependent on, where would you actually use that? Because I mean,
uh
okay, now maybe I shouldn't even be asking that, but as a new player, I'm going to ask this: why does it depend on me? Where would I use this? But I want to clarify that these are set. The work list is set up by admin,
right,
not by general players.
right, not by general players.
Okay.
But this job would not be available if there was something in the depend on. So I just want them to understand that if they see it says
Oh,
hold.
you know what? Hang on a second. Oh yeah, good. I just realized I always forget. Is Discord turned on? Am I doing all this and they're not hearing? It is turned on. Woo! Dodged a bullet. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's go back to that.
And,
So we're now we were talking yesterday
yep,
and we're oh I see. I'm going to scroll down right here to
yep,
work order 1297. So work order 1297 has a dependent on 1254 being completed before you can work 1297.
right. And so it's been completed because it's now currently available.
Right.
So
And this is
that
in okay, I'm going to jump ahead. So this is in West
okay,
Colton.
yep,
1298 is on hold until 1297 gets worked. Once 1297 is completed, then this one becomes available. And then 1299 becomes available when 1298 is completed. That's correct, right?
that's correct.
Perfect. Okay, let's go back up to the top. Let's keep going across the top one there at 1249.
Okay, all right. So the next one is obviously auto or DS required. Well, if it says yes, that means you're going to have to communicate with auto, or if there happens to be a live dispatcher on, you will be able to tone up that live dispatcher to get yourself out of the yard and on the way to where you want to go.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because this has kind of an issue that's been happening on the TLF servers, and I think it's also you've kind of mentioned that it's been happening over here on SRS. Um, Not every locomotive should be AI'd. Not
Correct.
and when I say that, it's because um, we've gone in as an example, gone on the southeast server, the A line on for TLF. We've gone into Taft Yard to go do work, and the Taft local power is gone. The cars are sitting there, but the power is gone, and it's nowhere to be found anywhere on the map. And we look at logs, and we do our research and find that it's been AI'd. So when you say in that first work order it's available, can it be auto, which is AI, or you can run it yourself? Okay, that yeah, don't I mean if it says no, don't AI it. And the piece that I want to state on that as an example from Barstow here, where I'm at, and if you're going to Victorville, you can AI the train and it'll route itself toward Victorville, but it will not stop in Victorville and could potentially take that train and cars off the end of the map and delete itself. So auto AI yes, go ahead and AI it. If it's no, you got to run that train manually. So anyway, that's my two piece because that's a pet peeve I have right now. But
Okay.
I want to go back to one more thing too, which I talked about, is that if you do it, you're going to get coached. Okay, we're not going to yell at you. We're just going when you find out, we're going to coach you, and then we move on. That's it. I mean, because we're a training server, mistakes happen. We get it. We're here to teach. So that's our approach. Anyway, go ahead and let me take a look at the thing. Okay, no more chat there. Okay, so nothing new in chat. Let's go ahead and continue on, please.
Okay. So then the next is location, and that location is this is in the BNSF Kings Park, which is up by Fresno.
Okay.
Uh, and then what the job is, let's go ahead and move over to the next. That's the local, so that's the job tab. It's
Okay, so
local.
let's go stop. Hold on a second there. So location is you have to have the that's the Bakersfield DLC, correct? Just to be clear.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not because yeah, Bakersfield DLC will take you from Bakersfield to Fresno, and then the Fresno to Modesto takes you beyond Fresno up to past Modesto and before you head to Stockton and stuff. So okay, just so that DLC would be DLC required would be Bakersfield. Okay, job as a
Okay.
local.
Job is local, so that means that it's most likely not going to be an AI-able train. This is going to have to be worked by a human.
Okay,
So going back to the auto DS requirement, that just means that you're going to have to communicate with the AI dispatcher or a real dispatcher. Not so much you're going to be able to AI that train.
I
It's
gotcha. Okay,
it's gonna have work available that
gotcha.
you're gonna have to do with industries available.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so that
I think I might have confused people. That's all right. But yeah, so okay, so going back, yeah, you have to talk to Otto, or you have, and that's probably something we're going to drill down because somebody was at. Well, I got asked last night too. Hey, can you do a how-to on how to communicate with Otto? We'll cover that on another day, not today.
right.
Okay. Train symbol, good. Okay.
Yep, train symbol's good. Well, we missed yard track. So yard
Oh,
track
yeah.
is totally where it's located in that particular yard. So this would be KP track or KP1 track, and
Okay.
then we're going to move over now to train symbol. The train symbol is the symbol that should be on your lead locomotive,
Okay.
possibly on all your locomotives. It just depends.
But it has to
Then
be
we're
on
going
the
to go.
lead. Has to be on the lead locomotive.
Has to be on. Yeah, it has to be on the lead locomotive, but maybe not on the other ones. But if it is a turn, we might have it on both. That way, then when you're coming back from your running out to do your turn, your locomotive's still going to say the correct number, so that Auto knows how to route you back as well.
Okay.
So because you might have to do a runaround somewhere.
Gotcha.
Notes. That's what these are. This is kind of just a general thing. Depart the local, pick up your outbounds, and all your drop off all your cars at your industries, and then return to the yard. And then make sure you update the work list as progress is made. And this is a good example of update your progress as good as made as we get further down here into the columns.
Okay. So far with what you've gone over, when you say update work list, there's nothing here that I can update. It's going to be in the next portion of it. So let me scroll over.
Right.
Okay, I'm all the way over. So, all right, next
So
step.
now
Yeah.
the user column is where you will enter your name. That's you claiming that job, and once you claim that job, it'll say that it's assigned.
Okay.
And
And you say that that's going to be over here where it says available?
yep, you'll see like down a couple of orders there, 1278. It is assigned already to
Doc
Doc
Beetle.
Beetle.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
and it won't change unless you take your name out of that column there.
So if I were
Uh,
to type something in there,
yep. You type
TLF, I'm going to take that job as an example. Okay, so I've hit enter. Okay, see now it says assigned. So
right.
if I remove that, it's now back to available. Okay, cool. Got it.
So the next one is the date and time that the whole job was completed.
Okay.
So not if you complete if like you again. I don't want to get too far ahead, but when we get into the comments section over here,
Mm-hmm.
uh, this is the column that you would enter the date and again server time that you completed the job, and then it kind of says that specific time underneath.
Mm-hmm. But again, once again,
uh,
just your the was it Control or Shift C or whatever it was,
right.
and yeah. Whoops,
Control
I don't want to do that.
Shift C, Shift C,
Yeah, Shift C.
and
So that time right there. Okay,
but the date is the current date you're on the server, not
gotcha.
so let's not get that because the server should be the same date it is, but just make sure that everybody's clear that it's the date that you're on the server. So
Okay.
okay, and so then the column to the right of that in the comments is so there might be this probably wouldn't be in there, but it's going to say you know what has that job already possibly been worked. Someone maybe only been able to work half of it, and it looks like it's parked back in KP1 waiting to do work the other industries, and that's perfectly fine. If
Okay.
you do not or cannot complete the job, please make sure that you have it parked in a siding somewhere, preferably a non. How do I want to see this? Non lit up siding.
Oh, okay. So if you,
Needs to be a dark siding.
yeah, in other
Needs
words, if there's an open sighting somewhere, you can tie down and say the main thing what we talk about is don't tie down on a main line, don't tie down
right.
on a ladder. And in this case here is he's worked 3 industries and then went back to Kings Park and tied down on the same track that he left from.
Correct.
Okay. So
Uh,
and then the other thing I wanted to make a statement on this too is as a new person, um, one of the things that I quickly learned and through my investigation is the depot. Depot is, their forms are full of information, but the biggest thing is the maps.
yes,
If you
maps.
don't want to use the depot or chat on their form, that's perfectly acceptable. You don't want to register with them, that's perfectly acceptable as well too. The maps are open for you. Grab the map. Okay? And if you're tactile like me, I printed the maps out, and put them in plastic sheets so I can, use a dry erase marker and make notes. And that's how I ended up teaching myself. So that would be the piece of advice I would give somebody. If you don't care, if you want them digitally, then keep it digitally. That's fine too. But the maps are crucial. You want to know which direction, where to go. That information is already there on the depot's website. Use the maps um, religiously. That's the best thing I can say. Anyway, go ahead, continue on, please. Thank you.
Um, that should be pretty much it. If you're
Okay.
once you've made some sort of entry into there, then we need to go over to the next step.
Okay, so all right, so this is the work list. Once again, just to reiterate that um, this is the main page, the primary page that you want to come to, and this is where you're going to look what jobs need to be done, and you can scroll up and down this list. And okay, got it. So La Mirada Yard, Victorville Yard, which is Cajon. You don't get that on just the base game. You have to buy the Cajon DLC. Um, so right now I'm looking at the work orders here, and I'm not seeing a lot for Barstow or Needles.
No, not Barstow
Okay,
Needles.
all right.
There is a couple there for Mojave, which
Yeah,
would be where.
UP Mojave right here, which is assigned to Dave. Tiny Train has that.
Okay.
On duty, Mike Rice, please remember to check mainline hand throws. Get rid. Oh, that's a good note right there. Um, Comments on duty. So Tiny's on duty, but they're okay. I don't even think he's on. This must be left over. He
He's
didn't.
not.
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah,
finish. Okay, so that's
he didn't
another
finish.
issue. Let's go
And,
over this
and
note here first. Mike Rice, please remember to check mainline hand throws to get restored to normal position. If you see pink shaded track blocks, that indicates there is at least one reversed hand throw that is in that section of track. So to drill down on that, if I may,
yes.
let me go ahead and so I'm going to come into here and then F3. If you don't have a rail driver, F3 on your keyboard brings up the dispatch screen. And as I look, I was going to just bring up so load this up so I just have Needles and Mojave, but I've got everything up. But as I look through, I'm not seeing pink anywhere. So yeah,
Go up to Bakersville.
Bakersfield.
You'll see a pink up there
Oh,
on
right
the
here. Yes. So that's the color that he's talking about right here. That if you see the pink there, um, that typically means that there is a switch that is thrown. There's two positions on a switch. Let me see. Let me go down here. I'm gonna play with the switch down here in, okay, here's a perfect example right here, as a matter of fact. Let me get on the ground. I'm playing keyboard. I'm not using my rail driver. So the flags, if you look, normal would be straight through. So if I flip that switch, we've got green flags going straight through. That is normal. If it's flipped, that's reversed. So, and that's going to be a diverging off to the other side over here. I'm going to leave it the way I found it right now. But on the main line, if this were main line, this would actually stop the flow of traffic that is auto controlled, the AI eye candy. So, and that's happened on the SRS recently, where a switch was thrown and left in the reverse position, and then you came on, and yeah, I was over on a different server, but you came in and you were grumbling because there was a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the good rule of thumb is if you see a switch like this, put it back. Just that's good rule of thumb. Now on the NorCal server, we have some switches where we've got some MOW flags that are sitting right there. So if there was a red flag here, mainline authority is also pink. You're correct, Jerry. That was another topic, yeah. But so anyway, um, you might see a MOW flag here, and if it's red, that means that these flags need to match that MOW sign. So we're going to flip it and make sure it's red. Um, and you might see flags, red on this side, red on this side, and then over here you might see a green one. That is so no matter which way you're standing, those signs indicate the normal, and I'm air quoting, the normal position for that switch. but without the MOW signs. Over there on NorCal, if you see a switch like this on the main line, that's not correct. Flip it back. So, and then going back, yeah, you can mainline authority. That's more of an advanced topic on auto, which I'll come back to, Jerry. But thanks for putting that out. Yeah, it means that somebody has mainline authority, which would cause auto to hold up um, trains because you might be working and using the main line as you work industries. So you always want to grab mainline authority if you're going to work an industry that's right off a mainline. Um, but the nice thing about that is once you relinquish your train from wherever if you tie it down, you finish your run or whatever, when you relinquish your train, it relinquishes mainline authority. But the good practice there is to tone up auto and relinquish through the dispatcher. Anyway, enough of that. Where are we going to go next?
For the forms page.
The forms page. Okay, let me bring this back up again so I can see.
We can go to one of the. Let's go to the Barstow tab.
So Barstow tab, this tab right here that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me take a look. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So you're making sure that people can see this clearly. Okay, so we are on the Barstow tab. All right. Walk us through this, please.
We got a little bit of a. Mike had notified me there's a situation out in the Calhoun that auto did not get turned back on, and it looks like we still have some traffic that's hanging up out there.
All right, so we're going to talk about that. No matter what server you are on, do not turn auto off. There's no reason to turn auto off. You left the session?
Yeah, because I only have up the other stuff.
Oh, okay. You got it. Okay, gotcha.
So I got to restart my.
Gotcha. But so while you're doing that, so yeah, I'm not even going to discuss how to turn auto off. Just know that you should not do that. Okay, you have to work with auto or the live dispatcher. Once again, I mean, there's some, honestly, there are some servers out there, server groups that doing something like that and leaving it off and not restoring it would be enough to get you banned. We're not that group. Okay. We just, well, like in this case here, we're just going to put it back, but I'm going to tell everybody that's, if you're brand new and and that's something you do on your local game, that's fine. What you do on your local game that's you. But on a server, don't ever turn auto off. All right, that actually causes like what Ken's got to stop here in the middle of the stream and go fix an issue. But anyway, waiting for him to come back. Crickets.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I'm trying to respond to message. K Mike's trying to tell me that it is working, but it doesn't look like it on the dispatcher.net. Looks like the traffic's just still chilling.
Now dispatcher.net is an external program. We're not going to even discuss that. While you're doing that, I'm going to go get me another K-cup for the Keurig. I'm going to have a third cup of coffee. Boy, I'm going to be bouncing off the walls today. All right. He's
on, but why is he? No. Well, this is this is a good example. Auto shouldn't be turned off. Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. I just gotta turn.
Yeah, remember
All right.
we are streaming, so let's stay on topic here. I know
Okay.
that needs to be fixed, but yeah, we were okay, now I can't talk. So yeah, we got about another hour yet. So we're doing this is good info. So all right, so we're looking at the Bakersfield tab.
Okay. Bakersfield tab.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll fix it in a minute. um. So this is where you're gonna find all the information you need to like where stuff is sitting in that particular yard. It's kind of just a reiteration. Well, not really a reiteration of um, the work list, but does have a good majority of the information is also duplicated here for the most part. Um, some things not, but it won't tell you like in the comments section. You won't see um, the comments that you see out there on the other.
Hello?
Sorry, I'm getting tones in my headset. So, um,
Oh, yeah, I'm that's why I like game sounds always go through my desktop speakers because then I can just dial that down. Um,
um, so the this is the tab where you'll come in and confirm where basically where your stuff is. Um, and then as you can see, like right below uh, the BNSF Bakerville Yard Registry, there's the clickable tab
oh, you're talking
where
about right
these
here, right there where that just popped up.
yeah
Okay.
where it says click here to make a registry entry. That will take us. You're at Bakersville or no? You're at Barstow. Okay, you're making
Yeah.
me
I'm at Barstow
wait.
because remember I'm a brand new player. All I have is base game.
Right. Okay, so if you click on that, that will take you to our forums page.
Okay, which I'm showing right now.
Okay. And this is where you will enter information related to what you're going to what you saw on your work list. So um, you'll enter your name, you'll enter the yard that you're working at,
That's a drop down box. So I'm working Barstow. Okay.
and then you will click next, and it will prompt. If you're missing anything, it's going to prompt you like what you need to make sure you
Yeah, and
enter.
then of course, yeah, right. Here, indicates required action. Required questions. So anything that's got that asterisk, you got to fill out like this right here. And here's a question for you now.
Okay.
All right, so I'm on the status. We have arrived, assigned, departed, hump complete, open, released, and then you got a tab that says below for yard master admin use. What does that mean?
Okay. That
Why is that a selectable option?
because I don't think you could hide it.
Okay. Oh, okay. And then below for local yard work only. So
Right.
if I'm building as a new player and I see that, and there's a track here in Barstow that I was looking at that is ready to go out, and that's where I started working on this the other day. Um, there is a string of cars ready on one of the tracks, departure tracks to go out. I want to get rid of it, but I come here and see this where it says below for yard master admin use only. Does that mean I can't build the train?
Um. Yes and no. I mean, typically the admin or the yard master, because we have both. There's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not necessarily an admin; it could be just a yard master. Should have already had it in build status. So then, as a
Okay, so let's talk about that. Um, there's a you have a yard master. You have somebody that's assigned as a yard master for this yard. He's
mhm,
the one that's responsible for putting power on the end of the train and putting it into build status.
No, so build status means you're going to add the power to the train.
Okay, so he's going to go into this form here,
And he's going to put in there.
change it to build, and then he's going to move power onto the train.
Well, he's going to leave it up, and it's going to be a hostler work order, and you're going to take the power from the power pool and bring it over to the tracks that particular train is on. You're going to add the power to it.
Okay, so
you're going to complete that.
I want to be clear on this. So the yard master, okay, or admin, me, you. So we're looking at that track is ready to go. So I'm as an admin, I'm going to go put it into build, what track it's on, and then I got to put in like the weight of the. Let me go find that in the. Where to go? Let me go. I'm using keyboard. I keep forgetting. I almost forget how to use keyboard because I'm using rail drivers so much. There we go. Where'd it go? Or is it gone already? Oh no. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to come down here. Let me change OBS here real quick. And I want, let's turn this off so people can see what I'm doing. I'm going to come over here. Well, I can just click on any car. I don't have to be that anal. And I'm just going to go to tagger, and I'm going to get the weight, the length off of this page here, and then I'm going to input it into this page. So in this case, weight 9044, length is 6444, and then whatever comment I want to put on there. But there's no asterisk, so I don't have to put a comment. But I might say something like use enough power to meet minimum. Oh, how can I can't even spell minimum. HPT. Okay. And then I'm going to submit, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So now I've submitted. Where do I go from there?
After that, then you're pretty much ready to go to. Okay, so you added it to build that bar to mem, right?
Yeah. So track.
It'll show in there now. I mean, as the admin.
Oh, right there. N2. I see right there. N2.
Yeah.
So I've added that. So now I see this as a new player. There's a build. Okay.
So then,
and use enough power to meet. There's my note. The minimum HPT. Here's my weight. Everything I put in there. Who did that? And and I can add.
You're gonna put that over the work list so that they know that that's available to build.
Okay, so this doesn't transfer to the work list. I'm the yard master, and I'm making sure. Okay, so at that point, I have to go to the work list, and this is done. There's no form here. This is done manually, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So I do what? I click here.
You gotta click on the.
I'm going through. So remember, I'm playing stupid. So walk me through the process.
So as an admin, you're gonna enter your name there. So TLF.
Okay, TLF. Okay.
Then you can move over to the next one.
Okay, and this is where I'm going to pull up the time.
Yep.
Okay, so in today's date, so 5. Hello, where are you? There you go. 525 space 08 50. Close enough. Okay. Next. There's no dependency.
No dependency.
All right. So next.
That would be a yes. Because
Okay.
they'll have to contact.
Auto to get out of the yard.
Well, no, actually, they won't need. Will they need to use auto?
So this is a column that, as a new player, might be a little confusing, because I initially, as I read that, auto to me means I can AI it.
No, auto. So auto and AI is two completely different things as far
Okay,
as the game's concerned.
as far as the registry is concerned for the
Right.
SRS, auto means that you need to tone auto so
Right.
that he can route you out of the yard. Oh, hello. What do we got? What do we got? LJ. Oh, thank you, LJ. Thank you, LJ. Just became a member. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate the generosity. And yeah, LJ, I remember. I'm still around. See, I'm streaming. Hey, there it is. No, he was concerned because I hadn't streamed for like a couple of weeks because there's just a lot of stuff going on at work. And man, I appreciate that when my friends, my subscribers, my buddies and they play on the server, you guys reach out to me. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. So, but thanks again, LJ. Thanks again. All right, getting back to this. I'm actually kind of humbled right now. So this case here, yes. So that would be a yes.
Well, this is just build status, so no.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Ooh, what is that? Oh, that is an issue. I don't know why it does it twice, but it does it twice. But thank you. Okay. Anyway, so that's a no. Getting back into the topic here. I'm getting off topic myself here. Why is it not? No. Okay. And then I'm going to put in BNSF Barstow.
Right.
Okay. All right. Job.
And
Hos.
Hostler job.
Okay. All right. And then yard track would be N2.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. North N standing for North Departure Yard. So let me go look at the departure yards here real quick. So we get a little explanation on that as well. Let me go fly down here. All right, so depending on which DLC that you're on, you may have a departure yard on one side of the bowl, which is right over here where my cursor's flowing around, and then a departure yard on the other side of the bowl. The north departure yard, south departure yard, that is just a reference to the bowl. That's it. It doesn't mean that trains going north have to be in the north departure yard or trains going south have to be in the south departure yard. Here in Barstow, you've got this string of lights that run right down the middle here. So in this case, north departure yard is north of that string of lights. South departure yard is south of that string of lights. That's all it means. You can put a string of car on either one, but just be consistent that if you're putting, like cars, in this case, cars from Memphis, you start putting them on N2, all cars from Memphis go on the M2. I'm correct in that, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So, all right, let's go back and look at this again. Okay, so now yard track. So in this case, I'm in north departure N2. Okay, N2. And then this one, oh, I forgot the tag for it already. I can go back to Barstow and see it. So H bar, so actually I can click on that, and if I right click, I can copy that, and then just come back to the work list and paste that. Are you going to paste it? You're going to let me paste it?
Yeah, it should let you.
There it is. It made me, Google Sheets made me jump through a hoop. All right, so so that's the tag that I'm going to put on the lead locomotive. Okay, which is going to lead me to another thing, and this is one that a new player brought up. how do I know which end to put the power on? So, and that's actually kind of critical. Um, so I know just from experience the power is going to go down on the far end down here. And I gotta get this out of the way so you guys can see where I'm pointing at. It's going to be down here, down here where my cursor's at. That, because it's going to go off in that direction. Whereas if we go off in this direction, that's toward either the Mojave sub or the Cajon sub. So, and there is a map that you can get from the depot that is like an overview of the routes and shows you where you need to go. But just know that if I'm here in Barstow, if we're looking here, this is the end of, this is the trim end of the bowl. Anything on the trim end of the bowl is going to be heading out toward Needles and Seligman area. If you all you have as a base game, it would be heading out toward Needles. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, and then of course, if you're not sure, ask.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring this statement too. Look at SRS Discord. Because they do have their own Discord. Look at SRS Discord if there's anybody in their Discord. If not, you can look at the TheLazyFarmer Discord channels. Somebody's going to be on somewhere, and we're growing, so you're always going to find somebody. And don't be afraid. Just because you're working here in Barstow doesn't mean you have to be in the SRS Barstow. They would like that. That'd be preferable if that's, to be in that particular channel. But if you have a question, jump into one of the other Discords, for either TheLazyFarmer or for the Southwest Rail Simulations. Find somebody and ask a question. Ask that question, and that, because the only time that you're going to make a mistake and it's going to screw things up is if you have a question and you don't ask it, and then you end up making a mistake, and then now you got to go. Now we got a coaching session, but you'll get even with that you'll get your question answered. All right. So let's go back to where I was doing here. Okay. Well, actually, let me turn this back on so people can see what I'm doing. All right. There we go. So next, notes.
So usually what I do is I kind of just copy and paste like what maybe somebody already had and kind of edit it. But basically, notes is just you can put in there grab power from power pool.
Okay.
Shop. Make sure you update again follow make sure that once the power's added, the registry is updated.
Move power from power pool, and so power pool. Okay. Next.
You can leave that blank because that's going to be whoever's going to assign.
Okay.
And then you can put further instructions if you want to, like.
Oh, in the comment section. Okay.
Yeah, you can put in there. Make sure that it has at least maybe one DPU. But I mean, it's just depending. I mean, most of the trains don't really need a DPU going out that end of the map, but
Right.
again, if you kind of want to make it more prototypical, then you can add the DPU to the back of it.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So this is basically now a job that anybody can do.
Right.
Okay. So at this point, we did a really good overview. I'm going to go back to the Barstow tab again.
Okay.
Okay. So this tab, anything here is pretty much going to be generated through the registry entry up here, which brings up the form. Some stuff is going to be done by admin. If it's something you want to do, but it's under the admin, don't do it. But for new players, just look at the work list.
Correct.
Okay. So let's see. We got about another. We just got a little under an hour, about 50 minutes left. So,
Okay.
is there anything else that we need to look at and that the new player needs to be aware of with the registry over here?
Mm, no, I think we pretty much covered the registry as well as we can, unless you can think of something else that
I
you know.
as a yeah, I mean, I think we're pretty good on this. Um, okay, so we're good. So the only thing I'm seeing now, once again, it's just me being me and how my brain works. It's that probably after we're done here, I'm going to go look for work that needs to be done. Um, and I want to set some things up because I know with Barstow and Needles and the Mojave Yard, because that's all you get as the base game is Needles subdivision, Mojave subdivision, and the Barstow Yard. You get dropped into Barstows because you're kind of forced to work this. As an admin, I'm going to probably look and see what needs to be done in Needles and what needs to be done in the Mojave Yard, or any different locals that might need to be done to throw more stuff up here for the new players. Um, and just that's just me talking to you because we're both admins over here. That
Right.
with the new players coming in, I think we need to make sure that there's always plenty of work to be done. Yesterday when we were out here looking around in the R yard, oh, we got two trains now.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I mean this almost always needs to be full, and yeah, here's an
So,
example.
as a new player, I guess this kind of goes to the registry thing. We can actually, as a new player, if you come in and you look at the registry and you look at the receiving yard and you say, "Hey, there's a train that arrived here. Nobody's added this to the arrival status for that track," because you go back to that tab to the bar tab,
To the bar tab. So bar tab is Barstow. Okay.
and
And
then
I'll
it's
make and I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt a little quick because I'm also noticing that Bakersfield, I mean, you're using BAK, BAR, FRS, LAC, SBD. The tabs are orange, so those are the symbols for those yards under the BNSF. And if we go all the way over here at the bottom, and the yellow ones is just two-letter symbols. That's UP symbology.
correct.
And then the tab for the Modesto and Empire traction. I think that oh, there is a registry entry up here now. 'Cause last time I looked at it, there wasn't one up here. Nice. Okay, I'll take a look at that and see if we can start making some registry entries over here and get that because we need to start pushing people to that area. I want to get that's an area that I'm actually responsible for. So anyway, enough of that. Let's go
Right.
back to Barstow. Okay, we're back here. Okay,
So,
so
so you get on and you're kind of glancing around to see like what's available, and you don't see anything available, but you see stuff that's in the receiving track.
hmm
You can go ahead and make a form entry that that train has arrived on that track. So you would go up to your forms page, click on that
oh,
little
that's a West Col.
icon.
Oh, this one came from West Colton. Okay.
Yes.
All
That's
right.
one of the
So it's
systems
hard
that
to
we
see
currently
that
use.
sometimes, but anyway, okay. So I'm gonna go to the forms. I'm looking at forms are in user ID TLF and yard. This is gonna be Barstow. Next. Then I'm
Yep.
gonna
Find.
train ID code. Receiving yard, select inbound train ID. Okay, so inbound train ID. I'm looking for West Colton,
Should be all the way at the bottom.
and that's a West Colton BAR.
Right. Right. Yep. That's it.
Okay,
HC.
it was throwing me off as the one, and I was looking like there's a BA West Colton BR that, but
Okay, so the one on the symbology just means it's overall priority on the system. So the one
gotcha,
is a low, very low priority, even though it carries an H symbol, which is technically for BNSF a high priority train or a high priority manifest. The one gives it another designation under the BNF system, which means that even though it's a high priority manifest, it's not high priority over other manifests, which could have a higher number.
gotcha. I need to pull. You know what? I don't have a map up for this. Off the top of your head, what track is that? Is that R1?
R1.
Is that R1?
Yeah, R1. Yes.
Okay. So I want R1. Okay, and we'll do the same thing over here. Well, I got to relinquish what I had. So wait. 6876 length 4208. Have to spend a lot of time over on the southeast. This is just going to be power to engine. I can't type. So submit, boom, done. So now I can come back over here, refresh, and there it is. Yeah, there it is. Powered engine racks, then ready to hump. Okay. So now I need to go back to the work list.
Yep.
And I'm coming down here, and I do this all over again.
Only the admins can add that on there, not a regular person.
Right, but as an admin, I'm just making sure that, yeah, so 5:25. What time was it?
But as a regular person, they can assign, they can show that the train has arrived in that block.
Yeah.
So
So I can go, okay, it's there, but then I gotta come back as an admin. I need to come back and do this.
Right.
Okay. And dependent on no dependencies, this is a no. And BNSF Barstow and Hostler.
Yeah.
I always get confused on that. And this is R1.
Because all a hostler's job is in real life is to remove and add power to inbound or outbound trains.
Okay, good enough. That's what the actual tag is. And then move power to fuel racks. Actually, I'm going to be low.
And on the SRS, if the fuel racks are not available, we talked about this last night, they can park it on the long track or the shop. If you pull the map up from the depot, they have it listed as the shop run through track. You can park power there if there's not enough room on the fuel pads.
Gotcha. All right, so now we've got at least a couple things to do here in Barstow for somebody. Perfect. Okay.
Right.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk. So pretty much that's it. So this is the main page. Once again, Worklist page. As a player, this is where you want to come to on the SRS. So in your browser, make sure you bookmark this, the SRS registry, and what's coming on it's going to have a completely different look and feel to it. But what's coming on the TheLazyFarmer servers is going to be, we're going to call it the matrix. Okay, and how we do things are going to be a little bit differently over there. So you always want to follow the procedures for the server that you're on. And even if you make it, if we train you up enough and get you to where you can get onto the Depot Plus, they have what's called the OC or the Operations Center. That's very important. If you do stuff over there and they track everything, I'm going to tell you from experience, they track everything over there. They even track time on the locomotives. So, and they simulate everything. You got to be dedicated. And I know that the SRS, and I know that on the TLF, my particular attitude is I don't want you in the Google Sheets. I want you there for maybe 5 minutes. Take a look. Oh, I'm going to do this. You take it, and then whatever you're going to do, you're going to start. Hey, I'm going to put my name in over here. I'm going to put the date that I'm taking it, and then any comments of what you're doing, and then now that's yours. Come back into Run8. I know personally me, and I think SRS is the same thing. We want you in Run8 the majority of the time, not in the sheets managing stuff.
And
So
I know it can be a little this can be a little overwhelming. Again, like Lazy says, if you don't see one of us in the SRS channel, please pop over and ask one of us, or more than welcome. And once you've joined the SRS Discord, send me a message, send me a DM. Hey, Ken, what do I do?
yeah,
And I will respond to you.
yeah,
So
and I mean um, even myself, you can even DM me as well too. Um, even when I'm at work, I check Discord. I will respond to you. I may not be able to do a resolution for you, but if I know that hey, I'm working, but I know that Ken is off, I might just redirect and send him a message, and he'll reach out to you. But we do respond. So and it could be immediate, it could be a day. Just please be patient. Everything in Railroad is hurry up and wait. So all
that's
right.
correct.
So enough of this. We're done with it. Let's talk about some things that what is expected while we're in the game. Like I said, we spent a lot of time talking about the registry. Now you're in. Let's talk about. Oh, I know. There was one thing that was pretty blatant. Then you were going to move it. I said, no, don't do it.
Nope, go the other way.
Other way. Yeah. Where was it?
It's over in the local yard.
In the local. Okay, so let's talk about this. So first things first is this is the bowl. So as cars are pushed over the hump, this will get filled up. Okay, and as it filled up, you're going to look at the work list. If something needs to be pulled out or trimmed, that you just go by what the work list says. If there's nothing there, and if this track was all the way up, boy, that needs to be trimmed. And if it's not in the work list, don't touch it. Or reach out to an admin or somebody and go, hey, you can reach out. If you reach out to me, reach out to Ken. Dave Rice is another one you might see. If Mike is on, you can reach out to him. Hey, there's no job for this trim in this full. Can I pull a trim? He'll set up something on the work list for you. We'll get you so you can actually follow the process. But the 4 tracks over here that are, from my perspective, that are to the right of the bowl, these 4 tracks, that's the local yard. Go ahead and talk about the local yard.
Okay, so the local yard is only meant for parking cars for the locals that run out of Barstow, and there's only what did we say last night? Four, three locals, three locals.
3 locals that
All right.
run out of Barstow.
Elcal 102, which is to Victorville, Elcal 1161, and Elcal 0611, the Boron local. So these tracks are only meant for those 3 locals. Their cars are only that's where you place their cars. Nothing else should be in these 4 tracks. Not even power.
So let me expand. Let me expand on that a little bit, if I may.
Okay.
That rule of thumb. I know you said it was just for Barstow. I'm going to tell you right now. Every classification yard, hump yard, has a local area. this rule applies to all classifications. So whether you're in West Colton, whether you're in Barstow, if you're in Waycross on the A line, if you're in Selkirk on the Northeast CSX map, there's a local yard. That's all that goes in there. It's for cars that are being sorted, okay? Because the locals are, and I'm going to expand on this a little bit more. Um, the locals are, where was I going to go with that? I'm trying to think of my words very carefully here. So it is the locals crew are responsible for sorting cars. A question that I've get quite a bit is, can we change the hump and then push cars for locals to sort the locals? If you want to do that on your local game, your private thing that you're just doing on your computer, go ahead. Okay? But on a server, no. Do not do that. In real life, we build the locals over here, we're going to send those cars. It is not on the classification yard to sort the local. Okay? It is on the local crew. So to that end, you see 4 tracks here. Only 3 of these tracks can be used because you need to keep one open as a runaround. Always keep one track open so that you can run around and get to the other side. Am I wrong in that?
No, you're correct.
Okay. So now you made a statement about no power should be parked here. So I want to fly down to show this is not power, those are cars. Let's look at this power here for a second. What do we see that's wrong here?
Well, number 1, power shouldn't be there. Number 2, it's foreign power and shouldn't have been used on a local.
Right, and then we see that because there's if you guys can see that on the stream, LCal 0102. Now, to clarify that, we do see foreign power on trains. If you're watching trains that go by, hey, this is CSX, and all of a sudden you see a BNSF, power. It can happen, but typically your lead locomotive is going to be the one belonging to the actual railroad that operates on it. So in other words, this lead locomotive that has the LCal 0102, that should actually be BNSF.
And typically how it should go is locals don't use foreign power. What you will see your foreign power on are road trains, so trains that are just going to go, either off the system or could be on a supply train, but not necessarily. I mean, most of the time we try to not use foreign power, but you will see foreign power on the eye candy going by.
Right. So today, in today's railroading, I'm seeing more and more what I'm going to call road power, and I'm air quoting in because we got road power that we're looking at here. I'm seeing more and more road power being used for switching, as the SD45s are, and I mean we're starting to see some SD45-3s.
Right.
Sorry. Can we? Okay, I got a question. You may go back to LJN here. The formulas on the dock are great. Can we, if it's not already in the works, can we integrate this on the SE? Actually, it is in the works, LJ. I do have a registry. It is there. But then the way my brain works is I took a look at that, how the Southeast is set up, and I'm like, I'm redoing it. So, and it's almost complete. And so there's going to be a page for locals, there's going to be a page for road trains, a page for plants. I'm doing it differently than how the SRS does it, but that information is going to be there, LJ. And not only is that one almost ready to go, the one for the Northeast is almost ready to go. And on the TLF servers, it's going to be pretty much the same look for each server. It's just there's a lot of coding in the background that I'm working with, and I'm going to have right now. I don't have. We talked about this. I've got 8 days left of work, and then I'm on a 2 month vacation. So if I can't get it done in those 2 months, then there's a problem with me. And I probably squirreled and did something different. Anyway, and then of course CSX, the cyber attack, the monster truck one, King of the Beach this year, nice, okay. And CSX, I also have a monster truck piece off of Airmail. Ah, nice, good job, CSX. Back to topic at hand here. All right, so bottom line is we don't want to use foreign power in Run 8. Run 8 models 1995 to about 2005. Okay, so in that era, this type of power would not have been used for locals. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, it just would not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we're looking at GP40s, yeah, GP40s, GP or SD40s, and the SD45s is what you would see. Okay,
Right.
and on the TLF servers, that type of when you look at those type of engines, you know, hey, that's local power. Do not AI it. Okay,
Right.
it's don't that just and that's a designation of how this you look at it and go, oh, I can AI this because that's road power. Okay, but if you're looking at something like a GP or SDs, no, don't, or even an MP15. Somebody AI'd an MP15s over on one of my servers. No, don't do that. Okay, so and then because this power should not have been left here, should not have been used for this. It should have gone all the way over to this side of the Barstow yard and either put here. You can put it here in the shop. You can put it on the racks over here. And this is that long string of that Ken was talking about. You can even just drop it here as well too, because this is kind of like overflow storage track. And then same thing with this power here could have gone here. So once it's over here, where would you go with that power? Because
It would be put either back on another outbound. It could be put on just a regular outbound train. Wouldn't even matter because technically in real life, railroads share power sometimes, where they borrow power from another railroad, and then they in turn the other railroad uses their power. It's a time thing. It's hours wise. So it could simply just go on a train
yeah,
that's going back off route.
something that's not overly modeled here in Run 8. Good morning, Jay Singh. Um, Not modeled here in Run 8, but it does something in real life. It's something you see foreign power all the time. But I think in this case, what I personally would have done is move this over to the engine storage area, and then the next train that would go from BNSF to West Colton, I would have put this power on that train, and whether if I drove it myself, I would put it dead in tow and isolate it out. Or if you're going to AI it, let auto drive it over there for you, that's fine. But at least then the power ends up back over in the UP because West Colton is Union Pacific, where Barstow is Burlington Northern Santa Fe. And now you got that foreign power back over where it belongs in Run 8.
And that's why on that train that you saw that was brought in that you clicked on the WC, uh, the link to bar that you
Mm-hmm.
entered into the system had so much BNSF power on the front of it was because me as the yard master at West Colton had all that BNSF power sitting over there. I'm like, yep, I don't need this.
Yeah, all that foreign power. So now, yeah, it's yeah.
So
Which
technically, this, like you said, this could go back out. So the power that's sitting here and the UP power that's sitting over there doesn't even necessarily need to hit the fuel rack. It can go back dead in tow on the next H bar to wink.
yeah,
So
right. Let's see. So actually, yeah, because now going back to West Colton, you could actually even put that UP on as head end, but then you would tag it with a UP symbology as opposed to BNSF symbology. And Auto will
no,
know.
no, because it's a
If I'm
no, no,
moving cars from Barstow to West Colton.
no. You'd want to put a the WCL tag on there, so it would be a bar to WCL,
Hmm.
not because it's a BNSF train. It's not a UP train. It's a transfer run between BNSF to West Colton, and
Okay.
then
We'll
coming
talk about
back out
that.
of West Colton.
Let's talk about that
Okay.
offline because yeah, you're
Okay.
okay. Anyway, but yeah, and bottom line is yeah, this is okay. We got another hostler I can set up. What else? What other issues are you seeing here? We talked about making sure switches were set normal on the main line. We talked about moving, not using foreign power for locals and not tying down power in the local yard. Um,
Okay. So let's bring up your dispatcher screen, the F3 screen,
okay, dispatcher screen is up,
and
and I want to
we'll go
go to
back to the.
Barstow.
Yep.
Okay, Barstow. All right, I'm looking at Barstow.
Um, the next biggest thing would be making sure that you're not leaving switches unlocked or
Oh, the blue. Okay, so what you're talking about is right clicking and turning a switch blue like that.
yep, that's
Okay.
unlocking a CTC controlled switch.
Gee, I know the answer to this, but why would I want to not leave this? Well, I'm going to ask the question and answer it because I'm going to pick on you a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So, if you leave this in an unlocked state, auto cannot manipulate it. So, if a train is coming in, auto cannot put that train onto a track that would be more conducive. In the case of what I'm talking about, is where I'm picking on Ken because I had on the Selkirk server, it, I mean, coming in, it kind of looked like this with a whole
Yeah.
bunch of switches unlocked, and auto couldn't manipulate that. And then what it ended up doing is it forced the train down R1. Well, in Selkirk R1, there's a runner track that comes in from the engine shop. And if I want to get power onto or move power around, it blocked me, and I ended up having to go all the way to the far end of the yard and then come back around again. So if you flip a switch like this and you're done, flip it back. So now the
Yeah.
question is, what does that do? So if I turn this, let me go and get out of the dispatch screen. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Hang on. I hit the wrong button. Okay, so that's West Colton. There's Barstow. Okay, so right now I have ownership of this train. I haven't relinquished it yet. So I'm gonna get on the ground, and if you watch, this is an automatic switch right here, a CTC controlled switch. If I click on it, I get that error right there. That's a locked CTC switch. So I can go in here and you can see it's flashing where I clicked on it, and I can unlock that by turning it, right clicking and turning it blue. I did the wrong switch again. Anyway, now I can flip it. I don't get the error, and you can watch the points move. I'm going to put it back. So let me go back around again. So now I'm going to unlock it. So I'm going to lock that switch. So now it's locked to auto. Now he can manipulate it if he needs to. So that's the big point, what Ken was trying to get to on that. If you unlock a switch as soon as you're done or before you leave the map, even if you're not done, if you unlock it, lock it back up again. Is that the point you wanted to make?
Yeah. That and so the reason that block's flashing too is because you're standing next to that switch.
Yeah. So, and that's just a
That's a
way
good way to
that
tell you. It's a
it,
good way to tell where you are in a yard too. If you're
exactly.
used to where you can, if you're next to a CTC controlled switch, you'll see it flashing on your dispatch screen.
So, all right. and it's not flashing because I'm up in the air.
Right.
So next, what else you got? What else are we seeing? We talked about do not AI locals. Like here's an example. This is hump power. Oh, we had hump power disappear too off of the Southeast server. Oh, good God. There's a track mobile.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Anyway, well, that's a joke from last night. We actually were playing around with the track mobile and found out that you can put 20 of them together and they MU, and yeah, they work that way if you want to do it that way. So our ongoing joke is we're going to pick on somebody, and every time he asks for a locomotive, we're just going to give him a track mobile. All right. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, this is. I mean, this is the type of power that we're looking at. You can see the difference between this power here and what we're looking at over there. That I see a Sasquatch. Um, but yeah, this type of power. I mean, if you look at the tag and it says hump, all that power is used for is pushing cars over the hump. That's it. That's Jerry Brown. What's up, Jerry? How you doing? So, that's what that's for. So that doesn't mean that you can use it for something else. It's for a purpose. What's up, Hodge? No, it's not Ghost. That's Jerry Brown. That's the governor. It's the old governor, the retired governor of California, Jerry Brown. Boo. uh, so, and then the same thing. If you see a set of power and you look at the tag, if I click on, let me relinquish my other train here. And then if I click on it and you look right down here, train symbol, and you see hump, that's hump power. If it says trim, that's trim power. That's power that's just for pulling cars out of the bowl and used to move those cars over to the departure yard. They're not meant to be used for running locals. They're there for a reason. So if you take one of those and decide to go, I'm going to use this power and go run a local, and then somebody comes on and they see either in the matrix or in the registry that, oh good, there's cars that need to be humped. Where'd my hump power go? You're kind of getting in the flow, in the way of somebody else's flow. So if you need, in this case, if there are cars over here and you need to build a local, come over here, and take a look and see if there's any power that's over here that you can use. And if you don't see anything over here, like like I said, a GP or an SD sitting over there, now you reach out to an admin going, hey, I got no local power over here. Where can I get local? It's all road stuff. So now here's like H bar, well, Y bar 1021. That's local stuff. Here's some local power here too. You know, but yeah, where's the trim power? I don't just realize. Is that your trim power? Is that how you take your trim power over here?
Yeah, that's true.
I keep forgetting that I'm not on. Okay, so but anyway, on the TLF, it'll actually say trim, and I do that so that we know that this is trim power that stays here. It doesn't get used for local power. All right, and that's probably now to give me a reason as to why somebody used this for a local, because I don't see, yeah, I don't see any power for locals.
Those are not locals. The 1020 is the job number. So BNSF has
Oh no, I'm
assigned.
talking I'm talking about not those. I'm talking like for the
Oh,
LCAL 0102 or the
you mean for the 1020?
1161. So,
Right.
and that's why I'm saying that's probably why they grabbed this, because there's not a whole lot of power for something like that. There might be, I don't know. Anyway, that's why I'm coming up with a reason why this was done, but still this power should not be sitting here. Anyway, all right, we got about 15 minutes left. What else do you want to address that we
Uh,
might be seeing not only here on the SRS but also on the TLF servers?
I can't think of anything else. I think we covered pretty much everything that I can think of.
Yeah, I think we have two. Not a lot of time left to get into working a train. So maybe I just might call it an early day then. If I mean, I can to the chat. Is there any question from chat that you want to ask me or Ken that is on topic with um,
Oh, break usage.
brake usage? Thank you, Mike. Um, yes. I'm going to let you take that, Ken. Talk about we've got three different types of brakes on a locomotive, and when would you use each type? I know a little bit different for everybody, and I can tell you what I was told by one person on the Depot Plus, and then what I was told by actual railroaders. Okay, and one in particular that has worked for BNSF, UP, and now works for CSX. Go ahead, Ken, take it.
Oh, okay. Now you're putting me on the spot. Okay. So the three different types of brakes that you have on your locomotives, except for the MP15s,
Right.
um, is you have your local, your independent, which is only for the locomotives, does not supply air to the rest of the train at all. Your second one is your train line brake or your automatic brake. That applies the brakes to the locomotives and all the cars that are in the consistent. Then you also have dynamic brakes, which does not supply air to the brakes on the cars, but it does turn the traction motors into resistors, which then creates a braking effect.
That's good. So, all right. So going on, yeah, you're right. It actually, I'm going to be a little more technical.
Okay.
Um, so a locomotive, for those that are not aware, and I'm not going to get too deep into this, but you have the diesel engine. It turns an alternator or a generator, depending on how it's built, which generates electricity, either AC or DC. That electricity goes to electric motors that are actually on the axles. So when you are notching 1 through 8, you're supplying electricity to those electric motors, your locomotives move. When you go into dynamic braking, just like a Jake brake on a truck, okay, that turns the diesel engine from a diesel engine into an air compressor. What this does is it turns those electric motors on the axles into generators. Those so when they turn into generators, they generate electricity. That electricity gets switched up to a bank of resistors, and that's on the top of the locomotive. What's up, Ryan? So, as an example, let's look at this. And I'm not, like I said, this is rough, so you guys can like yell at me all you want, but like right up in here is where your resistors are. There's fans here. Those are actual radiators, but there's fans there. And what happens is you'll hear the fans kick on in Run8. You'll hear the fans kick on. You might even hear a whine. That electricity is generating heat through the resistors, and the fans are kicking on to dissipate that heat. And the load that's placed on the axles by the electric motors being turned into generators will slow your train down or even bring it to a stop. That's dynamic braking. Okay, so Ken's right. There's no air involved in this other than what goes through the resistors. So your automatic brake will supply air, and I'm saying that roughly because some people will say, no, it's removing air. No, I'm just saying it's basically using air. I'll just say that way. It's using air to apply brakes not only to the locomotives but to every car that's in the consist. And then using, if you have a rail driver, or you can even do it with a keyboard, you can what's called bailing off your independent brake, and that's removing the brake application on just the locomotives, but leaving the brake application on the cars. What we're seeing and what Mike was bringing up was we've seen individuals, people, whatever, and to no error on their own, um, using just the independent brake to try to stop a train. Good luck. Okay, especially if you're on a pretty steep downhill grade of like 1%, 1.5%, you're not going to stop that train. So the only time I personally use independent braking is in this case here, someone is moving, these out of the area here. I would just use it because there's no the cars. I would use independent braking to stop these, to control these locomotives. And honestly, no more than a 10-pound application. So if you look up, and you might see, I look at for a BC on independent braking, 10 pounds is enough to stop that train. And you just have to, and you have to anticipate, because remember, in railroading, it's hurry up and wait. Nothing is done fast. You're not going to go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. You're not going to stop in 3 seconds on a dime. Okay? And that's, so I think what Mike was bringing up is that's the piece we want to talk about, brake usage. Anticipate your stopping. Don't be in a hurry. Use inside the yards, speed inside the yards. No more than 10 miles an hour. That's real life. 5 miles an hour if you're in a shop area. Okay, that would be here in Barstow, or over in this area here, no more than 5 miles an hour. Everywhere else in the yard is 10 miles an hour. And then out on the main line, or if you're running, it could be 15 or higher based on track speed that's indicated either in Run8 or on your rail driver if you have a rail driver set to miles per hour. Does that cover that, Mike? So, but anything else? What else? I can go over, I got about 9 minutes. I'm going to do a whole how-to video on auto usage. So I don't think 9 minutes will be enough to cover that. Mike says yes. He was happy with that. So, yeah. If you're in a yard, I guess going back to brake usage again, if you're in a yard and you're sorting your local to get ready to go out, the only time you would use independent braking when you have cars connected to your locomotives is if you have bled the cars, which means they have no air in them, so you're not going to get any brake application, but then you need to control your speed so that you can stop your train. And then the rule of thumb is if you have more than 5 cars connected to your power, then you want to use automatic braking and have air on all those cars. Plot twist: you are switching in a yard with bled cars. You have to use the Indy, but don't lean on it. You should feather it. That's exactly what I was just talking about, LJ. We're on the same thing. And honestly, like if you have to do more than a 10-pound application, you're going too fast. And he's absolutely right. Just feather back and forth. No more than 10, and just 10, 0, 10, 0. Oh, shut up, Quincy. Quietly giggles in the background. But I want to go back and talk to that. This is, in fact, Quincy White right here. I had a conversation with him. He's a CSX employee. This was after the depot got done telling me during my checkout ride, after being lectured that I was using my automatic brake too much. I should rely completely on my dynamic brake. Quincy goes, no. So he's like, you use everything you got. But in Run8, we're not particular. We're not hyper prototypical over here on the SRS or on the TLF servers. It's just some things that we see. We leave it up to you, the player. If you want to be super prototypical, be super prototypical. You want to be very casual, be very casual. Okay? So we leave it up to you. So anyway, what's up, Quincy? How you doing? Long time no see. and you show up here. So just be quiet. Start picking on me. Hey, by the way, oh no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. You know what I want to say, Ken? Yeah,
No,
no, I'm not gonna say it.
behave,
I'm
behave.
not gonna say it, and it's not a bad thing on you, Quincy. It's just I'm just there's something I gotta keep to myself. I'm gonna go. Have a great day, CSX man. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk more. Yeah, this was more of an informational stream today about SRS and the thing. We'll talk more about your time down there in Virginia Beach. I want to hear about it. So anyway, hopefully you guys can reach out. Best way in this case, because of the information about the registry, I would say reach out to either me or preferably Ken through Discord. You can jump into the TLF Discord channels, probably leave a message there. He'll see it there. If you want to go over to the SRS Discord, you can do that as well. I think the link is in the description. You can leave a message there as well. Or just as he said, DM him directly. He's open for it, and even when he's at work, he does answer. I know this for a fact because I made him do something while he was at work. Anyway, with that in, I think it's enough time. I got about 5 minutes left, so just enough time for the outro. I want to thank everybody that joined us here. Jason, I will see you Tuesday. No, I can't. I really can't. But like I said, it's not derogatory to you, Quincy. It actually is more involves somebody else. But yeah, we were picking on them using your name, so it's all good. It's all good. It's all in love. Okay, there's no hate. I'm just saying, there's no hate. So anyway, I've opened that can of worms. Crap.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I
You
did.
did.
I did. So anyway, with
But it's just a write up we need you to do. That's it. It's a write up.
well, yeah, and that's the thing is every time something happens on the SRS or the TLF, it's honestly we have the write-ups. In fact, there's a stack sitting on your desk that you need to issue to everybody. I think most of them are to me. Crap,
A
I
few to
know.
me.
Yeah, a few to you. Mike's got a ton. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that's the biggest thing is that hey, there's a write up here. Quincy will be issuing the write up. That's the biggest thing that's how much love we give to you that you're that respected. Your name constantly comes up daily. So all right. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and do my outro. Ken, thank you so much for today. This has been outstanding. I think Mike Rice, the guy who owns the SRS, is going to really enjoy this one. Maps is out also. I see he's leaving. So
Yep.
hopefully this helps everybody. Talk about somebody that's really come a long way in a short period of time. That's Maps game. Yeah, he has come a long way. So, and the other thing is, just remember, if all you have is a base game, SRS is where you want to come to and get involved in multiplayer. Don't be afraid of multiplayer. That's the biggest thing I want to tell you guys.
No,
Okay.
there's nothing you can do on here that we can't fix.
Exactly.
So
And you know what? And we're not. I mean, you're gonna hear these guys. They pick on me. I pick on them. That's as we get to know you in the beginning. If you got questions, we're the place to be. Everybody except for Mike, he's way too quiet. Don't ask Mike any questions. He'll just sit there and go yup,
yep.
just like he did in chat. No, I pick on Mike too. He's been with me forever. Um, Safely, that's not my job anymore. It is here in Run8, Quincy. That is your job here in Run8 we write them up, you issue them. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, and then all you need is the base game. If you have a favorite area, if Pittsburgh's your favorite area, all you need is the base game and Pittsburgh Line East. If Selkirk is your favorite area, all you need is the base game and the Selkirk DLC. You don't need everything. You don't even need the car packs, to be honest with you. Um, I mean, the game, Run8 will operate with everything with the default Run8 boxcars and the default Run8 locomotives. It'll still operate correctly, but it does look better if you have those. So anyway, even if you're in my area, you live in the Fresno and Modesto area, all you need is the base game and the Fresno Modesto DLC. That's it. And you can run, and you'll be able to run stuff in and around Modesto and Empire Attraction. So if you have questions on what's my next DLC, I'm going to tell you get something that has a classification yard on it. Whether you get Cajon, that gives you West Colton, Selkirk, which gives you the Selkirk classification yard, Waycross and A-Line. You get two. You get Waycross and you get A-Line. So you get, two DLCs in one on that one. But I'm going to tell you too, go where it makes you happy. Well, with that being said, I am muting Discord so we can't hear. Say goodbye, Ken.
Bye.
No, you're supposed to say goodbye, Ken.
No, goodbye, Ken.
There you go. Okay. I will talk to you in a little bit. All right. So with that being said, everybody else, have a great rest of your Sunday. I will see you next Sunday again because I have to work on Saturday. Where's my mic? There it is. So yeah, I have to work Saturday. It's the last Saturday that I have to work for like 2 months because after that I am on a 2-month vacation. So all paid. Gotta love it. Anyway, I will catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your Sunday. This is Kurt H. I am the Lazy Farmer. And for Switchman Ken, Mike, K Mike, Jerry, the Governor, Maps Game, and above all, our write-up General Quincy White. Have a great day.